Hey guys, I'm Ray. We are streaming Blacksmith. Give me 1 second. Sorry, today has been a very odd day. In a numerous amount of reasons. So today is my birthday. And unfortunately, this month has been so crazy that I just have not been able to really stop and think about what I wanted to do for my birthday. So we're probably just gonna do a regular old stream, and because if I think about what I want to do for a good day or to have a good day, and one of my favorite things to do is it is streaming with you guys. So that's what I decided to do. Even if I can't come up with something really exciting and fun to do, special or anything, we're just gonna have some fun. We're gonna spend some time here in the shop. We're gonna talk. We are going to try and finish our dagger, or at least finish as finished as we possibly can. We probably won't be doing much in the way of grinding or anything. We're just gonna go forge finish. So this is the project that we've been working on. We started this project on Wednesday. Hey Corwin, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. So yeah, on Wednesday we started this railroad spike, and I'm gonna call it a dagger already. That was the plan of what it was supposed to be. So we split open this railroad spike, as you can kind of see. This is a Friedrich's cross, and so we've kind of got like a cross guard going. We've got a blade and a handle. So I want to finish this up. We're gonna forge finish it at least. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit discombobulated today. Nothing to do with my birthday, just mostly because I didn't have a great night's sleep last night, and I'm a little weak with my breathing. So, but that's all right. I'm here, I'm happy, and we're gonna make the most of it. And I'm gonna get a second wind, and it's gonna be fun. So yeah, we are going to continue this project. We're going to shape the blade a little bit. I want to put a point on here and kind of lengthen it maybe a little bit, and then we'll widen it out into a blade. The handle is it's a little bit on the small side, so I don't really want to shorten it up or anything, but I also kind of want to do like a pommel, so I don't know. Maybe what we're going to do is turn this into like a twisted thing, and maybe we'll weld on a pommel or something like that later on. We'll kind of see what happens with this. Okay, yes. For half a second, I was like, did I even mute, or am I muted? But I think you guys would have told me if I was. So, all right, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to light the forge. We're going to light the big one because as much as I would love to just use the mailbox, I do need to work on the central area, the cross, and thin that out a little bit. So we're going to need the big forge so we can put all of this in there and heat it all up at the same time. All right, so let's do this. We might switch forges a little bit later. Good. You hear me. Awesome. Like I said, I'm a tiny bit discombobulated this morning, and I'll tell you a little bit why after I finish this forge. Or lighting it, or whatever. Goodness gracious. Haha. Okay. Cool. We're going to let that heat up just a little bit. And hey, welcome to the stream. Give me just a second. I got to actually... Hans, welcome to the stream. Hello, hello. So like I said, I'm a little bit discombobulated today. And part of that is because for whatever reason, I don't know if I hit a dark mode or something on my main monitor, but everything, the green is gone for whatever reason. So monitors are RGB colors, and for whatever reason, the green is like turned all the way down. So everything is like, got this like ugly blue tint to it. So I'm having a little bit of trouble like reading names. I can see your comments, but names are a little bit challenging. So I'll figure that out eventually. And I mean, it's kind of an old monitor and it's a dirty area, so maybe it's starting to wear out. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. And the other reason I'm a little discombobulated today is because I told you guys on Friday I was doing a little bit of grinding work on our axe, and I gave myself another grinder bite on my pointer finger, and it's actually been healing relatively well. It's a little on the slow side because it's kind of a large grinder bite, wide, not deep. But yeah, I accidentally punched my brass headboard and I reopened it a little bit. So that's also, it woke me up in the middle of the night, so I did not sleep well. But you know what? It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't hurt anymore. I got a Band-Aid in my breast pocket, so when this Band-Aid inevitably comes off. But yeah, we're doing good. And it's gonna get better as I start working. Let's put this in the forge and heat it up. So how have you guys been today? Like I said, it's been a little bit awkward today, but overall, I'm having a pretty good day, and it's only gonna get better. So, but yeah, how have you guys been? Super excited to be here, and I'm super excited to hang out with you guys. This is how I have a happy birthday. You know, everybody's like, I hope you have an awesome day. This is how I do that. So, I'm super happy to be here. My mic is kind of weird sounding, or the forge is running and messing things up. Let me check on my stuff. Let me plug that all the way in. I'm going to mute for half a second. All right. How's that sound now? Is that any better? I think we should be all right. That's what I should, unless there's something screwy going on with the microphone, this should be about where we're at normally. But yeah, let me know if there's something screwy going on. Let me put my transmitter back in my pocket. I tightened everything up. It looks, from my levels, it looks pretty good. Nah, to be honest, not really. Seems to be normally like this, I guess. Okay. I do actually have a, I have a sound dampener on, so it enhances my voice and it lowers the volume of the forge. So it might be a little bit awkward there sometimes. There's also occasionally static that happens. Psychotic Rat, thank you so much for joining us. Hello, hello, and thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Corwin says I'm doing I'm doing good. Just donated some old stuff to the restore. That's awesome. I'm glad. It's kind of hissy. I wonder. I mean, so there is a hiss that comes from the forge. The forge is incredibly loud, and that might be what it is. Corwin, can you hear it? Is it like it normally is? Somebody who is, a regular. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I'm adding another bit of noise right now because it is super hot and I need a fan going. So there is always going to be a little bit of interference in my sound quality. I don't have my earbuds in, but it sounds fine on my phone. Okay. Well, I apologize if it's too distracting. I don't have my other set or my backup set of mics. The butler takes those to work. So unfortunately, this is what we've got for today. Hopefully it gets better later on. All right. So today we are going to be using my crossbeam hammer. This is a hammer that I inherited this guy from my grandfather. And it's my oldest hammer. It's the one that I started using when I started blacksmithing in the very, very beginning. I love this guy. It's a 3-pounder. I replaced the handle a while ago. It's not the best handle ever, but it's a pretty good hammer still. Just checked your YouTube recordings and it seems to be normal. Okay, that's cool. Well, I'm glad it's not too bad. Or at least I'm glad that it's semi-normal. I will tell you that the reason I wear these headphones is because the forge and the fan and especially the press over here are super duper loud. So the microphone does do a sound dampening effect and sometimes, but you can still hear a lot of it as I speak anyway, because it can't cut everything out. All right, let's check our steel. We are at a glowing orange level, so we need to wait a little bit longer to get some more heat into the steel before I really start laying in on it and squishing it up. Hey, Mahalo, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Hello, everybody. Hey, Smithies. Yeah, after getting my first forge, double burner propane, I set up, I was shocked how loud it was. Yeah, so a lot of the newer ones are a little bit quieter than this guy. This burner, I ordered it, and it was made by a smith, and I think in Wisconsin. And so most of the noise is actually as the gas goes through the opening right around there. It is sucking in atmospheric air, so like, you know, our normal air, to create oxygen so that it increases the heat of the flame. And that noise of the air sucking in there makes a really loud sound. My Weaver double burner is pretty loud, quite a bit louder than the mailbox. Yeah, so some of them, you know, they can be really loud, but some of the newer ones, I've heard a few people saying that some of the newer ones, like the Chili Forge ones and a couple of the more fancy ones are a little bit quieter. They're still loud because, you know, it's still a forge, but they're not quite as loud as some of the handmade burners like that one. All right. We're checking out our steel. It needs a little bit more time, I think. So yeah. Kind of weird that it's my birthday today, guys. I'm a little bit weirded out by it. I mean, for the past few years, you know, I've been in my 30s and stuff, and I've been like, oh, I'm still young, and then, you know, now I'm turning 40, and you know what? I'm still young, but I'm also like, I'm officially middle-aged now, and that's a little bit scary, so. I mean, I've been thinking about how I'm going to turn 40 for the past several months. My mom says that if you're scared of your next age, just start thinking that you're that age early, and then by the time it gets to your birthday, then you won't be bothered by it anymore. You're 40? I would have guessed mid-20s. Yes, today is my 40th birthday. It's crazy. I know I look young, but, you know, I'm young at heart, right? So yeah, it's kind of crazy. I never thought that, yeah, it's just a number. Have some cake, right? So the butler promised to get me my Pokemon donuts tomorrow morning. I'm super excited about that. I saw on the Facebook that Krispy Kreme has their Pokemon donuts, and so the butler promised me to get up early and get me some instead of cake. He also said that he'd make me a cake too if I wanted one later, but I decided on the donuts instead of the cake. What do you guys think? You know, Krispy Kremes with the, you know, Pikachu and Squirtle and Bulbasaur. I'm super excited. Then, you know, it's not as bad thinking about how old I am if I still get to go and eat Pokemon donuts and watch anime and play video games all day. How long have you been smithing for? So I started blacksmithing in 2010. And mostly what I was doing with my smithing back then was bending steel bar and twisting things and adding that to my fabrication projects, right? I made a lot of furniture in that way. And I got sick in 2020, and I'm sure you can guess what it was. And I've never been the same since. So about almost 2 years ago, I came back out into the shop and I just decided I was going to do it anyway. I was going to blacksmith, and I didn't care if I could only be out here for a half an hour. I was going to come out, and I was just going to do it because I love blacksmithing. And in order to help me motivate myself, I decided to start streaming on Twitch. And then this lovely community came and started, you know, joining me. And it's been a crazy ride, you know, November 2024 to now. And it's been incredible. I've gotten so much better at moving steel and blacksmithing in general. I am leaps and bounds better than when I first started, and I'm pretty excited to continue learning, you know. So I've been smithing for a long time, but I don't really feel like I am I'm a knowledgeable smith because I have a lot of head knowledge, but I'm not really good at practical, or like the practical side of it, because I just haven't done a lot of actual blacksmithing. They say it takes about 4 years to master a new skill, and like I said, I've got almost 2 years under my belt, so I've got a little bit more time to go. So we're gonna keep on keeping on, keep on learning, keep on growing, and you guys can come along for the ride, you know. Cool that you found such a positive experience with blacksmithing. I've only managed to start very recently. Well, that's okay too, because you know what? The best time to start is 5 years ago. The second best time to start is now. So, you know, I mean, if you're looking for someone to tell you to go out and start smithing to get, you know, to keep on keeping on, I'm going to tell you right now, keep on keeping on. Get started with that thing that you need to do. All right, let's take a look at our steel. We are at a nice glowing orange. It's still a little bit on the colder side, but it's good enough for us to start working with it a little bit. So I'm going to turn on the other camera and we're going to start hammering some steel. Oh, okay, I did. All right. Put me over there. All right, let's heat this back up again. We're gonna get a little bit more flattening in there. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get the handle and the blade to be in the same plane as the cross guard. So we've got a couple of little shelves here. I'm just trying to spread that material out a little bit and kind of create a more of a flat plane there. Right. So I could not find my other water bottle today, and this one was half empty. I didn't want to just dump all of it out because we have like the little Gatorade powder in here, so I'm going to drink what's left of this and then we'll refill it. Probably in about, I don't know, half an hour. When the ad starts, I'll refill it. I was trying to be all clever and have everything ready so that I didn't have to spend too much time getting or gophering for things. And so I have a Band-Aid in my pocket, my shirt pocket, because the Band-Aid has come off of my finger every stream since I did this. And so I was like, I'm not going to have to go all the way across the shop and across the house to replace it. I'm just going to bring it with me. And then I dropped the ball on the water today. So, I feel like the reason I don't use this hammer is because anymore, or as often anymore, is because when I rehandled it, I didn't do a very good job, and so the head is slipping off again. And so I need to rehandle it again, but I haven't gotten a hold of a new handle for it yet. I was looking at the price of handles for axes and hammers when I got the handle for our axe. The axe handle was like $25, but the hammer handles were like $8. But at the time I only had the $25, so we'll go back and get hammer handles at a later date. Also totally feel you about the knowledge part. Been watching stuff for months on months on end before even remotely starting. Got this ADD thing in my brain where I will read up on a hobby for months until I feel satisfied with the thought of, oh, well, I haven't swung a hammer in my life, but I could if I wanted to. Rarely follow through with these hobbies. See, that's one of those things. I'm the same exact way, you know. I'll look at something and I'll be like, oh, that thing looks so cool. And so I just start reading up on it. And then I never start it. Or maybe I do start it, I get one project deep and then I quit. It's kind of what happened with screen printing for me, right? I thought screen printing would be so cool. And I read all about it. And I bought a screen kit or printing kit, and then I didn't use it because I only had one screen, and I was like, I don't want to screw it up. What if I screw it up? And then I'll have to I won't have any more screens. But yeah, it's like the hardest step is probably that first step, but getting out there and just doing it. That's what it's the hardest step, but it is the best step. Just do it. You know, and if if you don't want to spend any money, if you don't want to get your own setup, you can go hang out with a blacksmith. I always tell new blacksmiths that before you spend large amounts of money on a new forge, a new anvil, new tongs and hammers, go check out the Abana website. Abana is the Artist Blacksmith Association of North America. And on their website, they have a link that it's a find an affiliate link. And what you do is you put in your postal code, and it works in Europe, in the in North America, and in Australia. And they will find you the closest blacksmithing affiliate group. And you can just go to their website, check out to see when their next meeting is, contact somebody, you know, see if there's anything that you need to do before you go, and then go hang out. I've never met a blacksmith who will turn you away, you know, as long as you're, you know, calling them up first, you know, maybe not like just show up randomly, maybe call them first, but I've never met a blacksmith who didn't want to help, you know. They're an amazing community. I love the blacksmithing community. It's a mess, honestly. Glad I followed through with drawing at least. Smithing is something I'm definitely going to try and learn some more though. Yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And like I said, it's better to learn specifically from someone. I go to conferences all the time. They're like conventions, but you know, for blacksmiths. And I talk to all of the presenters, or not all of them necessarily, but anybody who will talk to me. I talk to them. I do interviews. You can see those interviews over on my YouTube channel. And every single one of them tells me their biggest piece of advice for a new blacksmith is go find other smiths. Help, or you know, you can learn so much more from a person than you can from a website, a book, or a video, you know. Abana is a barren wasteland of emptiness here in Germany. You might be able to check out Baba. Now, they're the British Blacksmith Association, and so they're probably not going to be near you necessarily, but they might have an idea of who else might be in your area in Germany. Now, I know that there are blacksmiths in Germany and in several other locations in Europe, but I don't really have the specifics. Most of my experience is here in North America. But yeah, like I said, if you take, you know, if you call somebody up from maybe BABA, the British Blacksmith or Association, then they might have some advice for you. I don't know. I don't know. Occasionally, there'll be blacksmiths at castles or like Ren fairs or things like that. I know that there are Society for Creative Anachronism chapters everywhere. Maybe see if you can't find somebody there. I'll try to look some people up in Europe if it's empty. The Abana website. I'll have to get on that. All right. Let's do another heat. All right, we're starting to get where everything is on the same plane. A couple more heats and then we should be pretty good to start working on that blade, I think. Let's turn up the heat again. Oh no. That's blue-red metal. Like I said, I was talking a little bit earlier about how my main monitor is, the colors are a little bit on the wonky side, and maybe it's the red that I'm not seeing, because I look at Blue Red Metal's name, which is normally red on my monitor, and I can't see it. There's no difference between the black background and your name, so I apologize. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes, though. Thank you so much. Welcome to the stream. Most stuff is like one-day weekend classes, but YouTube has been working out fine for starting out. I mean, YouTube is absolutely great. Like I said, you know, I learned how to change a spark plug on YouTube, but you know, you can learn a lot from YouTube, but you're still gonna learn a little bit more from an in-person blacksmith. But you know, if there is no one near you, YouTube is also great. You know, check it out. Have I become colorblind? My monitor has. Let's see if I can't find like a menu setting. I don't know. Menu. Color settings. Hey, hey, hey. Come back here. Image setup. What color am I? Like kind of greenish. Contrast, brightness, eco mode, gamma. It didn't work very well. BTTUV has a color normalizer. I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to see if the butler can fix that for me. Like I said, the colors are incredibly skewed on that monitor. I can read chat, but I'm having trouble seeing some of the names. So apologies if I have to like squint. I will do my best to kind of, you know, because I also have to squint to read YouTube chat. I found a plugin to aggregate all of my chat, but I haven't quite pulled the trigger on doing it yet because I didn't find it until like an hour before stream, and I didn't want to mess things up that close to before stream. So I just was like, okay, I have this bookmarked now. I will try it for our next stream for Monday. So that way I have a little bit of time to kind of work the bugs out before, you know, before things get too weird. Alrighty. Alright, let's do one more heat on that central area. And then we're going to start working on the blade, I think. I think we're going to work on the blade first. And then we'll work on the handle a little bit later. All right, we're pretty well there. So we're going to flatten things out now. And then we're going to turn it around, like I said, and start working on the blade. The first thing is probably going to be working on getting a point on this guy. We've got a very flat nose on this blade, so let's point that out. Put a point on it. What's your point? I will remain in the shadows. Oh, I'm hopefully only for today. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the butler can help me figure out a good way to get my reds back. I think that's the thing. 100 bits. Thank you so much, Ping, for the birthday wishes and the biddings. Thank you so much for your continued support as a mod and a community member. All right, let's change the camera angle while I'm thinking about it. We're gonna come over here, I think. I think we're gonna come over here. Different angles for different views. All right. But yeah, thank you so much for those videos. My breathing is starting to get stronger already. I came out here initially and I was just a little bit, it just felt like my breathing was a little bit weak, but the adrenaline has kicked in and I'm raring to go. Super excited. That's one of the good parts about blacksmithing. It's just I get a good adrenaline rush and then I can just go. And that's awesome. Until I crash later on at night, and then I just get really tired until I eat. It'd be great if I could sleep good, though. All right, we're going to change hammers because we're going to be doing a little bit of shaping. Whoop. There goes a set of tongs. I still love that hammer, but it is a little bit off balance in comparison to this hammer. This hammer has some incredible balance on it. And that's kind of why I've made this like my daily driver. I don't do things that I would normally do with a cross peen with a rounding hammer, which you could, but I do prefer the cross peen for those applications. So it's kind of, what's the best hammer or the best tool for the job you're doing. It also has an incredibly ergonomic handle for me. It's like a lot of hammers that you buy at like Lowe's or Home Depot or your local hardware store, the cheapy ones, they have these really thick handles and they just don't fit my hands very well. I've got teeny hands, This one fits beautifully. It's almost like the person who made it, knew that I'd be the one that won it. All right. We are trying to create a tip or a point on the end of this guy. But we also want to keep it nice and straight. So we've got a good start there. Heat it up again. Let me take a look at a thing real fast. I must have just finished an ad on the Twitch. I apologize for those of you who are over on Twitch. I know that I have like ads play, and normally I will pause what I'm doing for the ads so that everybody gets to see what's going on. Unfortunately, since the OBS update on Wednesday, it hasn't shown me the little timer for the ads. So hopefully I'll be able to figure that out too. Once I can aggregate, I think, all of our comments and our chat, I should be able to leave things on the Twitch side of things, and then I should be able to monitor when the ads are happening. A little bit better, at least. All right. How we doing on our heat? Let's raise the temperature just a hair bit more. And I think we're gonna be doing another heat. Another heat, another heat. All right. So that's starting to look pretty well like a blade. So I think it's about time maybe to flip this over and kind of look at the handle a little bit. I still want to kind of flatten and straighten that out. We've got a few little gaps and folds in there that we've got to flatten out. And then I also want to do a twist on here eventually. So that's our next goal, is to kind of take out all of the weird folds and then put a twist in it. But yeah. So I'm kind of monitoring our propane today because this tank, we've been using it for quite some time now, and I'm a little bit worried that it's going to start freezing up towards the middle or end of our stream today. So I have a brand new tank that's sitting over there. We'll swap that out when it starts to get a little bit less furiously flaming, and then we should be good to go. I might actually go and switch forges at that point too, depending on where we are with the cross guard. Splendor Shop, thank you so much for the birthday wishes over on YouTube. Thank you so much. Have you done a basket twist for a handle? I have not, right? I've wanted to, I planned to at one point when we were doing coal forging, but part of why I've never done a basket twist is because I feel like it's not a basket twist unless you forge weld the ends together, right? So originally when I did our very first forge welding stream, I was really confident that I was going to get the forge welds really quickly. And so I brought out a whole bunch of stock that we were going to turn into a basket twist. And then I couldn't even get the pieces that we were using initially to stick together. So I just feel like, you know, I still have a plan to do a basket twist. I definitely want to do one. I haven't gotten around to it just yet. We'll get there though. What size tank are you using? I recently upgraded mine to a 2x11 keg, aka a 2x24 tank. It is just, it's like a barbecue tank, like for grilling. So it's like a little 20-pound pig. It's only one. And the reason I do that is because it is easy for me to just take it to the hardware store and switch it out all by myself. Anything bigger, and I feel like I would almost have to bring the butler with me, and it makes it a lot easier for me to get it when I need it, because the butler has a very limited schedule on time that they would be able to help me out. So One of these days will get big enough that I will be able to hire the butler as my loyal employee, and then I will upgrade because I'll be able to get help anytime I want. That's one of my goals anyway. I could also get a manifold, a 2-tank manifold, and tie 2 tanks together. And that would also prevent my tanks from freezing up, but I just have never remembered to do that. One of these days, you'll forge a receiver hitch crane for my truck. I mean, maybe. That could work too. That I wouldn't need the butler either. I just have, you know, the tank. It'd just be sitting on the receiver, and it wouldn't take much effort because it. Obviously, I would turn it, or I would use a lift gate for it too, right? Then I could just like roll it over on top and then lift it up and chain it down and go. Yeah, same for me. 2 barbecue tanks, which in Germany are 24 pounds, joined into essentially one. Still kind of tweaking the forge doors, aka fire bricks, to air propane ratio. Yeah, there actually is an ideal for that. I believe if you Google search, you can probably find it for your specific forge, because your specific forge is a very common. And there have been smiths all over the place who have done that math. I don't have it specifically because I don't use a beaver forge, but I'm pretty sure that somebody out there's got the math for that. And what that will be is you have like a manifold on the top of your forge, and you can kind of move that up and down over the air gate, and there is a specific size gap, and you should be able to find the measurements online. Don't want to alarm my neighbors with a 70-pound big old propane tank standing in my backyard. That would be kind of alarming. I mean, maybe less here in the Midwest of the United States, because it has become a hobby to smoke your own meat, and the big smokers, they need those huge tanks. That's why you can get a hold of them relatively easy, and you can refill them pretty easily in this area too. Like I said, it's more of a awkward weight thing than a not being able to get a hold of it thing. All right. Okay, let's do our next heat. Okay. So there's a slight twist that's happening. It wants to twist this direction, and so I'm trying to keep that nice and straight while making sure that the blade and the handle are exactly 90 degrees perpendicular from the cross guard. And I'm starting to get a twist and a bend this way, so that's what we're going to start working on. My residential area, it's a very gray area to do smithing. So yeah, the less attention, the better. I hear you on that. My last house, it was relatively a gray area. Here, it's not so much. Here I'm in the outskirts of a town. We don't have like a, we don't have like a neighborhood association or anything like that. Oh, wow. Thank you for the gifting. Mahalo, 5 subs. Gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Thank you so much for your support, mahalo. If you're here and you've gotten a subscription, please say thank you. Thank you so much for the birthday present, mahalo. Thank you so much. So generous. But yeah, so here I don't have a neighborhood association. I don't have any neighbors on that side. The neighbors on that side, they're like, there's a big enough gap that they don't really hear the noise, and so nobody really bats an eye or looks twice when I'm out here. So I am lucky, but not everybody has that you know, amount of independence. My neighbor even cut back his heavily overgrown bushes, and now I feel kind of exposed with my 140-pound anvil and forge just sitting in plain sight. I mean, that's understandable. Oh, we are in a hype train. I don't know why I didn't see that the first time. We're at a level 2 hype train already. Wow. That's incredible. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Wow. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard in some areas to be able to smith in your own backyard. But yeah, it is such a great hobby, and it's so kind of enjoyable, and there are lots of places that'll help you out and, you know, let you, lots of smiths that will let you use their shops too. All right, let's do another heat. Birthday hype train. We still have a little bit of a curve, but I think it's from the blade side and not from the handle side. I don't know if you guys can kind of see down the length of that. So it's looking like we'll move that just a hair that way, and then we'll start working on the blade again. I think I'm gonna wait a bit before we do the twist on the handle. Trying to limit myself to mornings on weekdays with hopes most neighbors are at work. Blue Red has given 2 gift subs to the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those gifts. And is that Hans, did you just subscribe or did you get gifted? Thank you so much for all of the love and all of the support. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Thank you so much. It's a good time to, you know, it's a good birthday present, you know, to get a level 2 hype train. That's so cool. I think we have, I don't know that we've ever gotten a level 3 hype train on this channel, but this is incredible. We are so close. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. I hope I entertain you guys and make it worth your while. So thank you so much. And I know you guys have as much fun as I do. You tell me all the time. Choo choo! Level 2. 6 subs. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for that hype train. And Mahalo is the train master. Or wait, no, it's not the train master. It's the train conductor. I don't know. I think train master sounds cooler. What do you guys think? Train master or train conductor? Oh, it's your birthday? Happy birthday. Yes, it is my birthday today. Today is my birthday. Barely keeping it on the rails. See, that's me. I barely keep things on the rails. And you know what? Sometimes it falls off the rails. You know, when I drop things all the time. I was really looking forward to dropping something because I was going to be like, it's my birthday, I'll drop things if I want to, but I haven't dropped anything yet. Maybe I showed my cards a little too early for that one. We'll probably see a drop somewhere around here. So now welcome to the 40s. Yes. Hey, Sandwich. Yes, I am 40 years old today. It's crazy. I'm kind of like, part of me is like, I'm okay, you know, because it's just another number. It's just another day. And part of me is like, man, there's a lot of things I thought I would accomplish or not accomplish at all by the time I was 40. And my life is a lot different than I imagined it would be. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm actually pretty happy with what we've accomplished together over these last like year and a half. And then, you know, even some of the stuff that I've accomplished even before that, you know. So I haven't had a bad life, you know, and we're only getting better. You can tell everyone you are 28H. 28H. I don't think I'm getting the reference. Oh, hexadecimal. Ah, yes, yes. 28 hexadecimal. I remember we talked about hexadecimal. My mom told me that I could only get away with telling people that I'm 39 for 6 years because my sister is 6 years younger than me, and she's my next youngest sibling, or the next oldest sibling. So I don't know. I might just do that because, you know, I do think it's kind of funny being like, oh, I'm 39 again. We might have had that conversation exactly 1 year. Probably. We probably did. Then you turned 27H. Yes. Yes, I did. All right. Let's do another heat. It's not going to be a really long heat. We're just going to be moving just a tiny, tiny bit. See if we can't. All right. That looks pretty right to me. So, I don't know. Maybe I should do a twist next. Maybe that's what we're going to do. Maybe we'll do a twist next. Okay. So, I'm going to heat up this side, and then we're going to move the camera angle to the post vise, and we'll do that twist. I hope I don't regret it. Reminds me of there are 10 groups of people. Those who understand binary and numbers, and then those who don't. Happy birthday, Ray. Thank you so much for... Oh, it's J.K. Dudson. Right now, I can't see the color red. So those of you whose names are red, for whatever reason, my monitor has decided that it's not going to show me red. I think I don't know if green is turned up or what on my monitor. It's not your fault. I don't know. Something screwy is going on with my monitor. But thank you so much for the birthday wishes. We rated off to you the other day during your affiliate anniversary. That was fun. It was fun to celebrate with you. So it was your turn then. Now it's my turn a little bit, only a little bit. I'm not really doing anything special today for my birthday. It's a pretty normally stream. I didn't really have a lot of time. I thought I was going to have a little bit more time this month to do like some kind of plan for this. But then I got sick for a week, and yeah, it just, this month has been kind of icky for me. So we're just trying to recover and get things back on track. All right, so we are moving our camera over so you guys can see my twist. I think we're actually going to do something a little bit crazy. Because I want to get a better view. Better view. Okay. Okay, I think that should be okay, except for now I have to play jump rope with my cabling. Cheers, have you at least had cake? Not yet. My mom and dad are coming tomorrow, and that's when we're gonna like do the cake celebration and things like that. And instead of cake, I'm going to have Pokemon donuts from Krispy Kreme's. Here in the United States, the Krispy Kreme donuts is having a Pokemon promotion. And so the butler promised me that they would get up early and get me Pokemon donuts because I want a Bulbasaur donut for my birthday. All right. Let's do another heat. After this heat, though, I'm going to have to grab some more water. Wait a second. Before I do that, it would be nice if I had like something that I could use to do this twist with, right? So we're going to grab a wrench. Grab a wrench. Ah! I do this every single time. Every single time I want to do a twist, I screw it up somehow. All right, here we go. All right, I am going to heat that back up again. We're probably going to do another half turn. Right now we are at a full turn. I don't know. Let me actually take a look at that. We're going to take a look at that. That's not bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do we need another turn, or you guys like that? It's a little bit off kilter, so we'll kind of have to fix that. But I don't know. What do you guys think? You like that, or should I do more turns? Hope it's the very best donut there ever was. To eat it will be your test. To digest it is the cost, right? I gotta catch them all. I kind of like the twist the way it is. Well, I'm going to straighten it out, and then we'll kind of see. I think you're probably right. I think that if I do too many more twists, it's going to reduce the length of the handle, because every twist kind of shortens it a little bit. So I think you might be right, Mahalo. I think it might be the best the way it is. But yeah, I'm going to grab some water real fast. It shouldn't take me too terribly long. But in the meantime, we're going to heat up the handle there. So I will be right back, guys. I always wonder if you guys can hear me from here. I'm standing in my kitchen. In theory, you guys should be able to hear me talking, but I never know, you know? I never know if there's brick walls in between the receiver and the transmitter. If the other side of the house is a little bit too far away for you guys to hear me, but... Okay. We be back. We be back. Hey! As I drop the water everywhere. I can hear you! I can hear you. Yeah, there's a hallway between the garage and the house, right? My kitchen is like on the other side of that. But then like the opposite side of the house is where like my office is and like one of the bathrooms is, and so I never know if you guys can hear me all. I know you guys can't hear me all the way out there, but I think you can when I'm in the kitchen. Murphys love Bluetooth mics, right? Works across the house when you're just doing stuff off stream, but quits in the middle of an interview. Yeah. It does. Did I show that? I don't know if I told you guys about that. So I was interviewing Andrew Welton, who is the expert on bloom steel that went to the Indiana Blacksmith Association. Oh, did it happen live? Okay. Because, yeah, there was a mic malfunction during that interview, and there might have been one previous to that as well. But, yes, I hate when that happens. It makes it very difficult. Very difficult. All right, let's trade out hammers for the moment. So this is a rawhide mallet. It's this, you know, it's actual rawhide, the same stuff that you give to your dog. But this is going to allow me to straighten out the handle without marring the edges of, like, in the corners and stuff. Anything wireless is allergic to stream. I know. Always. It's the worst when it's my internet. Unfortunately, I do not have a wired connection to my net. You know what? I totally forgot to move the camera. So you guys probably didn't actually see much on that. I mean, you can see me. I didn't even change the camera. Okay. I think we're actually pretty good. I'm going to do that again, though, so that I can get a recording of it and you guys can see what I was doing. So we're going to bend it again. And then we're going to do that whole shot again. Because we can do that. We can do that. I'm going to bring the camera just a little bit further down. That way you guys can see like the rawhide burning and stuff. It's such a great action shot. Yeah. There we go. We'll use that. No one saw that, right? We're just gonna redo it. Great for B-roll. It's my birthday and I'll do what I want to. No, I'm yeah, we're just gonna reshoot that. Okay, you guys ready? Let's try this again. Oh, I'm gonna put me over there. It'll be easier for you guys to see. Better for B-roll. Alright, so I think Mahalo is right. I think that's actually a pretty nice twist on there. That is a full twist. And I actually think that's pretty lovely. Now what I wish I had was something a little bit better for a pommel. Unfortunately, we just don't have anything that's like better right now. We might create something else. But in the meantime, we're going to turn this around and start working on putting in the blades. We're not going to put a fuller in, but we are going to thin out the edges on that. All right, switching hammers again. Rolling, rolling rawhide. First try. Yes. That's my favorite thing to type after I've struggled to fight a boss on a video game, right? You know? It's like, you get to the boss and you think it's going to be easy, you think you're going to roll it, and then it slaughters you over and over and over again. And then when you finally get it, then that's my favorite exclamation. First try! Alright. So we are going to be hammering out the edges of our blade as our next step in this process. We've kind of created the hand guards. I'm pretty happy with them. We've created our twist on our handle. That's very nice. Now we need to start working on our blade, thinning it out and creating the edge tapers. We want to create a tiny bit of a distal taper where the blade closest to the handguard is thicker than the tip. So we might start with that, the distal taper. It's one of those, you know, fun words to say, distal taper. My friends who make blades like a lot, they really like talking about the different parts of knives and swords and things like that, and that's one of their favorite topics. Okay. I wonder if you could make a pommel from the head of another spike. That would be fun. We might be able to do that, but I don't know. I know I don't have another spike at the moment. Oh no! Alright, so everything pretty much, or like everything looks pretty much the same thickness. So like I said, I want the area, the edge that's closer to the cross guard here to be thicker than the tip. So we're going to do a little bit of tapering. I think it actually already looks like a dagger a little bit, you know? We've got a nice handle, we got a cross guard, we got the tip on the blade, you know, it's pretty good shape. We could totally just like grind it back and create a tiny little parrying dagger. Always better to have a longer parrying dagger if you are dual wielding a rapier and a parrying dagger, because then you have extra reach. So when you're parrying your opponent's sword. But I mean, even a little short thing is better than not having it. Looks good. I hope so. I think I can finish it off and make it look pretty darn nice. I'm hoping that, you know, it works out for me. It's a good dagger. It would go well with the cloak. It would. So, are you a Marvel Rivals fan? Or, because I don't know why, but like when I hear Cloak and Dagger, I think of the Marvel character, and it's like a C-string character. Cloak and Dagger are, because I believe they were West Coast Avengers in like the 80s. Don't quote me on that because it's been a really long time since I've read Marvel comics. But if I remember correctly, yeah, they're like a C-string character, and they brought them out for Marvel Rivals, and they've become quite a bit more popular than they were previously. I think of Renaissance Italy. I mean, yeah, that's probably a bit, especially because it is a literal dagger. You know, cloaks also make really good parrying devices, because like you wear a cloak and you can kind of hide your profile, so then when your opponent goes to stab you, you can like it looks like you're all the way over here, but you're actually over here, and so your opponent is stabbing at the cloth and not at you, you know? Plus, you can wrap the cloak around their sword and disarm them. Very effective. Very effective. Alright, let's do another heat. After this, I think I'm going to change the angle on the camera. So basically what I'm trying to do here is just taper this a little bit longer. Right now, the blade and the handle are very even in length, and I would like the dagger, like the point, to be a little bit further out than the handle if I can manage it. I think we're about as long as we can get, so I really need to start widening it out and tapering down the blade. And I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then I don't, and then I don't. Alrighty. Yeah, it's where the term cloak and dagger originates, because commoners weren't allowed to carry swords in the street. That's typical. Swords were the rich man's weapon. Alright, if I move this back here, I should be able to get a higher angle. And then you guys should be able to see the edge a little bit easier. So I'm going to warn you right now, it's probably going to take me a whole heat, the first one, to kind of figure out where I want to, where on the anvil I want to use to thin out the blade. Because there's a few features of this dagger that are a little bit challenging to work around, like those, the railroad spikes on the head. They're flat on one side, but they're raised on the other, and so it makes it very challenging to get in the middle. So it's going to take us a little bit of time, and hopefully I can manage it. All right, let's try this. Let's try this. Nope, we're going to go over there. Do I want to come over here like so? Or do I want to... Ooh. Perks of having a broken anvil, guys. Perks of having a broken anvil, right? Ah. All right. So we're probably going to use the edge, the broken edge. And it looks like you guys can see that, but let me make sure that we are focused in on it. But yeah, we're going to use the broken edge of the anvil so that I can get a nice angled hammer blow. We're going to heat this back up again so we have plenty of movement, or we can get plenty of movement. So let me change the angle of the camera ever so slightly. Make sure that everything is in focus. Because I have a really shallow depth of field, which is very cinematic. But not great if I move the steel across the anvil face a lot. Hey Jack, welcome to the stream. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. You know what's the worst part of not being able to see when the ads are playing is I don't know what time it is. It doesn't feel like it's been all that long, but maybe it has. Okay. It looks like we have, okay, so it is almost 3 o'clock. Is that what it said? Don't you just love looking at your watch and then not looking away and immediately forgetting what you saw? Okay, it is almost 3 o'clock. That means we have been forging for an hour and a half. Thank you so much, Jack, for the birthday wishes. Thank you, thank you. We're not doing anything terribly special. We had a hype train earlier, and that's pretty special. But yeah, we're just kind of hanging out. Because, I mean, that's how I have great days, right? Is hanging out with you guys. Yep, almost 3 p.m. with a stream time close to 90 minutes. Yes. Yep. So I live in U.S. Central Time, if you guys were not aware. Since it's not almost 3 p.m. for everyone else, only me. I can provide unasked for Dagger. Oh, yes, you can. If you would like, I'm always willing to entertain suggestions. Occasionally, I have a method for my madness, but oftentimes there's a blank spot, and I don't know. I am in U.S. Central Time Zone also. Woohoo! It would be nice if I knew who that was. It was Blue Red. And J.K. Knudsen says it's 10 p.m. here. Treat the faces of the dagger as opposing quadrants and work them in opposite quadrants. Do not go in a circle if you can avoid it. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Because that way it's not going to turn on you. Because if you are hammering and stretching the material in one direction and then you are hammering in the opposite, opposing quadrant, the kitty corner quadrant, so if you've got a perpendicular parallelogram, you'd be like this space and this space, not that face and that face, if that makes any sense. You're going to avoid spinning the blade. Spinning the blade. It's for sanding, but you are forging the bevels. It's also important. Yes. It is. Okay, let's do another heat. Oh, yeah, Corwin is also in Central, aren't you? I forgot. Okay, so that would be, so then we're going to do this side. Because that would be the opposing side, I believe. That would be the opposing side. Maybe? Yes, it would be the opposing side. Ha! This side and then that side. Yep. Fun. Lonely in Eastern. Thank you so much, Shelly. Welcome to the stream. You got a birthday coming up here soon, don't you? Yourself. So live it up. You can make fun of me for being 40. Yep, in 10 days. So yeah, birthdays. I have like 4 or 5 friends who all have birthdays in the same like 2-week span. So I have, and my mother-in-law Also, well, my mother-in-law's birthday is today. Same as mine. So it was really easy to remember for the butler when my birthday was. So yeah, my mother-in-law's birthday is today, and then I have two friends whose birthdays were yesterday, and then Shelly's birthday is in 10 days on the 31st. My nephew's birthday is the day before mine. See, August is an incredibly birthday full month, I feel like. Mine is Monday. Awesome. Well, remind me so I can tell you happy birthday. You should also stream on your birthday, you know. It's always fun, you know, hanging out with your audience on your birthday. So yes, happy early birthday. Birthday. Okay, so we are going to step around the anvil to the other side, and so that way we can work on the opposite quadrants that we worked on for this way. That way we can create ourselves a diamond shape on the profile of this dagger. Yeah. I can't watch much of the streams on Monday and Wednesday because I have class. That makes sense, you know? Class is important. Real life is always more important than streams. Besides, if you feel like you missed something, you can always watch the VODs on either YouTube or on Twitch. Not that I'm saying you have to or anything, but it's available. Should you choose to accept. All right, we're going to continue working on this side of the anvil on this side because I lost a lot of heat during that first area. You can kind of start seeing the central line from the profiling that I'm doing right there. I'm trying to gain that on this side as well. LSDTTV, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream and welcome to the community. Welcome. I hope you're having as fun a time as I am. I have so much fun hanging out in the shop, especially with you guys. There's always, you know, every time I come out here into the shop on the weekends when I'm not streaming, there's always something missing, you know? Is the handle twisted? Yes, it is. So this particular dagger, what it is it used to be a railroad spike, right? So it's got a big old head on the one end, and I cut that in half, and then I flipped it upside down and turned it 90 degrees, and then I cut the other end of it in half. So it's kind of like a plus. So when I splayed it open, then we get that nice T. So then what I did was I trued up all of the edges, made them nice and pretty, and then twisted it. It's a full twist. The crossguard could easily be turned into a sai for a Ninja Turtle fan. It could. It definitely could. My goal is to make it so that the dagger looks like it was made from a railroad spike. That is, you know, the railroad spike projects. This and the stake turner that we made on Monday. The whole point is to feature the head of the spike, right? Make it very clear that that's what they're made of. So this time we're making a dagger. Maybe next time we'll make a sai. I told you I was going to drop something. I told you I was going to drop something. It was just the hammer and not the piece this time. Stick guard definitely looks like railroad spikes. Yes. And that, I mean, you know, I'm proud to keep those railroad spike ends intact. I think I have one more railroad spike laying around the shop somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I want to dig around and see if I can't find it, and then maybe we'll do another, like a third railroad spike project. You know, because 3 is the magic number, right? Okay, let's do another heat real fast. And it looks like I have changed the angle on the camera. So let me actually, no, maybe I haven't. I don't know. I'm going to change the angle on the camera anyway because I can. And the butler would be very proud of me because I'm changing the angle on the camera. Maybe not there because I'm going to be in front of the camera there. What do you guys think of over here? What do you guys think of over here? This is an angle that I don't normally get. Can I get this? Maybe if I put it over here a little bit further. I think that's an okay angle, but you guys can't see me because I'm behind the door. Ah! I'm gonna trip and fall and die. You watch me. Probably not the die thing, but definitely the trip and fall part. I'm gonna put me over there. Okay, let's try this. Let me know if you like that as an angle. All right, we're starting to get that nice distal taper. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time straightening this guy out. Right now we've got a little bit of a tilt on there. We do kind of also have like a spay tip a little bit where it widens out towards the end just before the tip. So I don't know. I think it looks nice. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Good angle, bad angle? Let me know what you think. Can you see? Railroad spikes are hard to come by here. I've been curious how they are forging. They're super popular on the internet. Is it an availability thing or is steel very consistent? So I kind of feel like it's an availability thing. Railroad spikes are incredibly plentiful in the Midwest of the United States, and a lot of the resurgence of blacksmithing as an art here in the United States is primarily in the Midwestern states because it's the rural farming communities, and there's already a lot of tools and equipment and know-how here. And there have been a lot of railroads that pass through smaller towns that have been defunct or, you know, need repairs. So there's a lot of railroad spikes around in recycle locations or scrap yards. You can also buy them online at blacksmith supply stores. And, you know, you can buy high carbon versions but typically your recycled ones, like the ones that I have there, are either low or to mid carbon steel, right? There aren't very many like actually high carbon railroad spikes that are actually have been used in holding down railroad ties. Yes, definitely availability. Same with horseshoes, right? There is a large amount of availability in rural communities throughout the Midwest and or West of the United States. And a lot of people, they get a hold of used horseshoes and just turn them into whatever things that they need. Um, so it's a lot more popular here in the United States, in the Midwest specifically, than in Europe and things. Not to say that blacksmithing has not spread all throughout the country. You know, there are blacksmiths on the East Coast, West Coast, and everywhere in between. But yeah, I feel like a lot of it is in the Midwest. Also, 5/8 is a good thickness to make a lot of small hobby items. Yes, definitely. Thanks for the answer. We have ship axles and wrought iron anchors here. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. Like, I watch Alex Steele pretty regularly, and occasionally he'll work with some stuff like that, like the raw iron stuff that he gets, and it's all recycled and stuff. Recycle, recycle. All right, let's do another heat. We're gonna do the same angle because you guys didn't tell me that you couldn't see, so we're gonna try it again. Hopefully it's all right. Hopefully it's all right. Ah, it'd be nice if I could pick up our piece. All right, so we are gonna straighten this up real fast, like so, and then we're gonna come over and continue working on the bevel. All right, look at that. Look at that nice central line. It's looking really nice, really pretty. Okay, so the next heat, what we're gonna do is we are going to come at it from this side and start working on the bevels on this side. So we are getting pretty well. I wanna focus in on this side a little bit, so we're gonna work this way primarily, I think. We're almost to the point where we're finished. Almost finished. Midwest USA, yes. I'm actually from the St. Louis area. I live within an hour of St. Louis, downtown. So please don't come to my house, you know, without asking. You cool with fan art? I mean, maybe. I don't know. What do you have in mind? It depends, because, you know, fan art encompasses a lot. Ray Roseville, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Welcome to the stream. Hello, hello. Imageoir. Dr. Mario Master just rated in with... Oh, that's cool. That's That's really cool, actually. I like that a lot. Can I post that on my Discord? Thank you so much for the follow. Ray. Another Ray. Welcome to the Stream Raiders. Hi, I'm Ray. I am a blacksmith. Today's my birthday, but that's beside the point. Today we're making a railroad spike dagger. Right now we are working on the bevels for the blade. We are almost done. We got a little bit of work left to do, so we'll be hanging out for a little bit longer. Welcome to the stream. I do stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2:30 Eastern U.S. time. And yeah, so I like to hang out, I like to forge, and I like to talk with you guys. So welcome to the stream. I hope you have fun. Tally recommended me. Okay, well, thank you so much, Tally, for recommending me for the raid. Welcome, welcome. And thank you also for the birthday wishes, everyone. It is super hot outside today. It's in the 80s, so I've got a big industrial fan over here because, you know, I'm making it even hotter in here, so don't mind me. I'm always hydrating. It's a good thing. Hydrate, you know. If you haven't hydrated, hydrate. All right, let's do another heat. We're going to go from this side today. This is kind of an unusual camera angle for me. I hope it's all right. We'll probably do one more heat with it, and then we will change one more time. Well, not one more time. We always change. Ah. Like I said, we're working on some bevels on the edges of this dagger. Alright. I'm going to try. We've got a little bit of a twist going on here, so I'm going to try and untwist it real fast. You can kind of see a little bit where we've got that central line in there, and that's from the bevels. These tongs are starting to get hot. So you can kind of see where we've got a little bit of a distal taper. It's thicker here by the cross guard and thinner over by the tip. We are going to be continuing that down with some grinding later on, not on stream. I don't really like grinding on stream. But we've got it on this side as well. So we're going to do a couple more heats to really lay in those bevels. And then we'll probably put it up. And then we'll figure out something else to do, depending on what time it is. I've only seen this in video games and movies. This is so cool. I'm glad you are having fun. It is a little bit on the slow side, so I try to make it entertaining by, you know, being fun and excited about things and screwing things up half the time. Because, you know, it's always fun watching someone scramble to try and put things back together, right? We learn, we grow. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I love answering questions. It's one of my favorite things to do. I have a lot of knowledge about blacksmithing and metalworking in general. I started in metalworking as a silversmith, so making vessels out of silver and copper and brass and bronze. I spent a lot of time in college casting things. I've cast things in sterling silver, aluminum, brass, bronze, and iron. I also am a journeyman jeweler, so if you have any questions at all about metal, I'm your girl. I love metal. It's a passion of mine, and learning blacksmithing is kind of another expression of that passion. Flow can often equals calming. Yes. It's very zen, you know? Just be a raisin. My first real experience was watching Forge and Fire, and I've been hooked ever since. Yes, Forge and Fire is such an amazing show. It has grown the community exponentially. Before Forge and Fire, you know, we were just like small little tight-knit communities, and we've just like grown and expanded, and so much has opened up for the world of blacksmithing since Forge and Fire came out. It's not just making anvils more expensive, it's bringing more people into the craft. We were a dying breed, and now blacksmithing has just exploded. It's such a great hobby, and I love watching people enjoy it, you know? I got to talk to Ben Abbott last spring. I have an interview on my YouTube channel if you're interested. He had a lot of really interesting things to say about the show and how he got involved. He also gave me his best tip for a new blacksmith. So if you're looking for tips for blacksmithing, check it out. All right. My major issue right now is that the railroad spike heads are starting to get in the way of my hammer blows, which means I should probably start working with a smaller hammer. So let me find one and we'll play around. I'm pretty happy with that. We've got a very defined line. I do need to move it over just a hair, though. But yeah, we've got a pretty defined blade. Got a nice cross guard and a twisted handle. I'm pretty happy with that so far. I had a thought. I'm going to use my raising hammer. I don't get to use this one very often, but I think we'll be all right with this guy. This hammer, this is a Damascus steel hammer. It was made by one of the members of our community, Knott's hubby. And I love this hammer, but I don't get to use it very often. So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I need a small hammer, and we're going to use it. It's one of my favorites. Sounds very interesting. I'll check it out for sure. Tiny hammer time, always. Well, not always. You know, you kind of really need like a forging hammer when you're really trying to move metal. But right now we're being really delicate. So a small hammer is warranted this time. I'm about an hour southwest of downtown St. Louis. Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, I'm on the other side of the river. How much science understanding is applied to blacksmithing? Oh, you can go as deep or as shallow as you want with that topic. So there is an entire science of metalworking. It's called metallurgy, and you can create brand new alloys using it. You can kind of quantify how much steel that you're going to need to make what kind of project using it. It will tell you the ductility, which is the amount of movement that you're going to get from a piece of steel. It'll tell you the temperatures needed for different processes. There are so many different processes that are used in blacksmithing, specifically bladesmithing. So you need forging temperatures, hardening temperatures, annealing temperatures, normalizing temperatures. I mean, it's such a deep lake, an ocean, if you will. So yes. So, I mean, I can get into that if you'd like, but I think we need to get a little bit more specific. Let's dial it in just a little bit. Ooh, I love Damascus. It is so pretty, yes. Blacksmithing used to be considered witchcraft. It still is, but called metallurgy now. Yeah. I mean, blacksmiths have been doing metallurgy for longer than metallurgy had been a science, you know? Just forge welding, right? The science of forge welding itself. I mean, we are just now starting to understand exactly what's happening with forge welding, which is the process of heating up steel, clean steel, and squishing it together and fusing it under a pressure. And yeah, forever people just didn't quite know exactly what was happening, and we're just now starting to figure that out. And it's so amazing. It's such, like I said, it's such a deep discipline. I've begun doing a cable Damascus billet. Need to get back to a coal forge or one that can take flux of use. Yeah, that's my main problem with forge welding myself. So flux is needed. Flux is it's a glass that you apply to your steel to keep it clean. It keeps oxidation away, and it's needed if you want to do a forge weld, because you need to have completely clean surfaces touching to create a strong bond. If you've got filth or scale or anything in between your layers, you're going to create holes and pits in the weld. So the problem is that most fluxes are borax based, right? Borax, when you melt it, it creates a glass, right? Well, it eats up fire brick. It's just like, it's like if you use fingernail polish or fingernail polish remover on styrofoam, right? It just kind of just melts. Same thing with these fire bricks. If you use borax flux on them, they start melting over time. And so you have to be really careful that you're aware of that, so that you can replace the lining of your forge. All right, let's do another heat. I was taught forge welding with fine beach sand, and then it was literally glass. Yes, you can use fine beach sand. They also have like stuff that's a little bit more refined and technically good. All right, let's get some more heat so that we can get this side too. All right, we're getting super close to being at exactly where I want to be. I think I want to leave this side alone, because if I hammer too much further, I'm not going to have enough material that I'll be able to grind it smooth. I've seen some people use WD-40 as flux. That can also be flux if you need to, in a pinch. Because basically a lot of the contaminants that you get in between the layers of a forge weld is called scale. And what scale is it is hot rust, right? So the WD-40 has the same effect on your hot metal as long as it's not burned off, as it would in, you know, when you're using it to loosen a lug nut or whatever. You know, it's going to eat away a little bit of the rust. But you also have to be a little bit careful because I think it's flammable. So you want to be super careful when you're working with flammable things because, you know, if you get it other places where you don't want it, it can cause major issues. Be careful. Safety third. Welcome, Jack. Clean work. About 20 minutes south of Six Flags. Oh, okay. I'm not going to read out anything more specific because I don't want to dox anybody. I also don't want to dox myself. Are we talking about kerosene as flux? Well, we were talking about WD-40 as flux for welds. But yeah, kerosene is the same. Just like I said, it's a little bit flammable. Be a little careful. You don't want to accidentally set your whole alarm on fire. There was an episode of Forged in Fire where somebody did that. House go burr. Yeah, house would go burr. So I was watching an episode of Forged in Fire, and one of the guys was quenching his knife, and it fell into the bottom of the quench tank. And he reached in and pulled it out with his arm, not covered or anything, just his arm. And then he immediately went back to the forge and set his own arm on fire, and it was terrifying to look at. It was so terrifying. Ugh. Don't do that. Just a wee bit flammable, yes. Yeah, just be very safe, be mindful and respectful of the forge and the equipment and consumables that you're using. You can't not injure yourself, right? You're gonna cut yourself, you're gonna burn yourself, but if you keep safety in your mind, you can kind of reduce the duration of time between your injuries and reduce the severity of your injuries a lot. So, you know, keep safety in mind. All right. One more heat. One more heat. I don't know if this is going to be the last heat or if we're going to do a little bit of tweaking, but I think we're probably getting pretty close. Getting pretty close. Right. Not bad. I think we're about ready for a grinder. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and Corwin, since you're the one that gave me these railroad spikes, you can tell me. But I'm under the impression that these are low carbon steel, so we're not going to need to quench them. All right, I'm looking down the barrel. Pretty nice. Let me show you guys. See if I can show you guys looking down the barrel. It looks pretty darn straight. Looks pretty good to me. All right. So what I'm going to do next is we're just going to clean up a little bit on the guard in the heads. There's a couple of places where I've accidentally hit it in a wrong spot, so we're going to clean that up a little. leave the blade alone, just work on the guard a little. 1030 at most. Okay, yes, low carb. I think they're the high carbon spikes, but yes, low carbon. Okay, so I don't need to quench it, right? I probably don't need to quench it. I'm not gonna worry about it for this time. I typically soak cable Damascus and kerosene prior to first welding heat, and I believe it's helped. Part of the reason I know that it will help, and part of the reason is that there's other stuff in with cables, in with the cables that burns out on that first heat. So the kerosene kind of helps get rid of some of that interior gunk, because sometimes there's like fibers and plastics inside your cables, and for various reasons. So that kerosene is going to help burn that out cleanly. You can, but it won't be 1084 type hard. Okay. All right. I'm not going to worry about it just yet. I've made it relatively thin. I don't want it to crack, so I'm not going to worry about quenching it this time. Grease is often an elevator cable like mine. That too. Because they don't want those cables to rust and break, because that would make the elevator cable weak. Okay. All right. We're going to keep on keeping on with the small hammer. We're going to do our next heat. And how long have we been streaming? For about 2 hours, so we're a little shy of our 2.5 hour stream time. I think that's all right. All right. So, I have a question for you guys. I had a stray thought earlier, and I want to pose it to you guys. Alright, so you can kind of see how long this handguard is, right? What about a twist? Should I not worry about that? I think that maybe it's too short for a twist, because I think we could probably get a half twist where we turn the points backwards, but that would be detrimental to its function as a parrying dagger. I don't know if we could get a full twist. But give me your opinions. What do you guys think? Am I crazy? I vote no twist. Like I said, I think it's a little too thin or too short. I think I could get a half twist where we just turn it 180 degrees, but I don't think I could get a full 360. And I like the points facing upwards. It's going to make it a lot easier for to use as a parrying dagger, because you're going to be able to catch your opponent's blade and twist it out of the way using the spikes on either side. Whereas if the spikes are facing at you, then if your opponent twists their blade on you, there's a chance that it will stab you in the hand, and that would be bad. You could always do some chisel or file work in there. No twist. It will scuff the symmetry, because one will not be the same as the handle and the other not. You're right. Vote no twist if you want fancy chisel or engraving. Okay. See, that's why I posed it to you guys, you know? I figured that's what you guys might say. But like I said, it was kind of a stray thought. I thought it might be interesting, but because they are so short, I just don't think that I can do a full twist. I don't think it would be good enough. Chisel engraving. I mean, maybe. Do you guys want to watch that though? I mean, we could do that. I have some gravers laying around. Yes? Question mark? I don't know. I'm not very good at engraving. I would have to pull. I have not used one of my gravers in 18 years. 2008. I graduated from college in 2008, and I have not picked up a hand engraver since. So I don't know. Maybe some file work. Maybe some file work. Files I can do. I've done a lot of filing in my day. You know what? I totally forgot to change the camera. Oh my goodness. My bad. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Let me change the camera angle so I can kind of... I'm fired. All right, let me show you guys what I got. So this is the dagger. I think we're probably going to leave it here as our forged finish. There is a few places that we are going to be addressing with files and grinders to kind of make it nice and pretty. Let me see about going over it with a... Be careful, Ray. With a wire brush. But I'm pretty happy with that, guys. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm at a proper angle so you can kind of look down it as well. It looks pretty straight. It looks pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. So that one, and then what did I do with the other one? I did this with the other one. So these are our railroad spike pieces. Pretty cool. We made a stake turner and a dagger. Did I not? I didn't. I'm a smart lady, guys. I'm such a smart lady sometimes. So here is the dagger. Since I forgot to change the angle on the camera, let me see if I can't aim down there so you can see how straight it is. I'm pretty happy with that. See, there's a tiny bit of a pop-up right there. Let's fix that real fast, but it's not too big of a thing. But yeah, I think I'm pretty good. It's gonna make a nice carry dagger. And this is our other project. This is our stake turner that we made. Nice pineapple handle. I need to do a little bit more work on this because I screwed up my pineapple a little bit. Maybe it would also be nice to kind of line up the curve with the spike head a little bit better. but we'll see what we can do with that as well. Alrighty. So yeah, I think we're about done with our projects. Will you be able to slice paper when you sharpen the dagger? I don't know, maybe once. See, the problem with a low carbon or low to mid carbon is that it doesn't keep an edge very well, right? I turned off the forge because we're done using it, and I don't want to. Not only do I not want to waste the propane, but I also don't want to pump out more heat. But yeah, so once I put an edge on here, it probably won't stay on there for very long. So paper's gonna dull a tiny bit. But I mean, you know, it depends on what you're wanting to use it for. Think of the trees. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty darn good. There's a couple of little like waivers here and there, but nothing that we can't take care of with the grinder. I think it turned out pretty nice. Pretty nice. All right, let me check the time. We are at 3:49 my time, and we normally end the stream around 4. So we'll probably end the stream a little bit early because I just don't think that we can come up with a new, or I can come up with a new project that we can start in that amount of time. So thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a great weekend. I hope to see you guys on Monday. So thank you so much for joining me. That dagger turned out real good. You could use it to ward off vampires too. Yeah, it's a cross. It's like a Friedrich's cross design. So I can just like hold it up and be like, away. All right. Happy weekend and happy birthday. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and get birthday spoiled. Yeah. I will tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow is when we're going to be celebrating my birthday. So I'm super excited about it. Thank you guys for joining me on our stream today. Let's see. Over on Twitch, we are going to raid off. Let's see who we're going to raid off to. Twitch. I can spell, guys. I can type. I just watched your interview with Ben Abbott. Very cool. Have a great day. Thank you. Whoops. Did I just accidentally? Okay. I did. I'm a smart lady sometimes. All right. We are going to raid off to... Mr. Boombody. We have not raided off to Mr. Boombody in quite some time. Mr. Boombody oftentimes is working on chainmail. It also helps if you could type. Ooh, video games today. Sounds like fun. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. Bye.